All right. Are you able to hear me, everyone? All right. All right. So, okay, great. All right. So, we have already discussed one NoSQL and a general philosophy of most of the NoSQL stores. NoSQLs are mostly not really databases. They are storage of some data. Okay. Okay. So, out of all the, I will just go over the other NoSQLs. We have already gone over HBase. Okay. So now and then you will have this challenge of figuring out which database to use. Okay. Unfortunately, in the big data domain, as of today, there is no single solution for all of your needs. There is no single database for all of your database needs. Okay. Like the way we had earlier, that if we buy Oracle database, it will solve all our problems. That is not the case now. Okay. Because a different requirement, you might have to switch to different database. Okay. And based on, so it's good as well as bad. You now have many choices, as well as you have the problem with the many choices is that which one to choose is always a problem. Okay, so we will describe the need of each one, and then once you get the hang of it, then you will be able to uh, take a judgment call whenever required. So one of the most popular NoSQLs is Redis. So Redis is basically a in-memory database. It maintains the whole data in the memory while keeping a copy on the disk. Okay, and is also fairly distributed in the sense that Redis can parallelly run on multiple databases and coordinating such that it can utilize multiple machines RAM to deliver really fast results. So whenever you have lot of data to write, and I mean not lot of data, but lot of writes you have to get done. In those cases, you prefer the in-memory databases as a thumb rule. In-memory databases are those which basically do lots of work in the memory. Okay, so such databases are the only solution when we require high throughput while writing the data. Okay, because if you noticed, most of our systems which we have talked so far, they first wrote to the disk and then sometimes utilized memory. So they may not give you great throughput with respect to writing the data. If you need high throughput in writing the data, in-memory database are the only solutions. And it's great for storing real-time stock prices. Okay, example would be real-time data, because in case of real-time data, you have to do a lot of writing and you want a high throughput. Also, a complex object graph is easier to represent in the memory than in the database or in the file system. A complex graph. So in all of complex, in case you want a lot of writes as well as you want a complex graph, you prefer a database called Redis, but definitely not for hundreds of terabytes of data because that Redis can't fit it into memory. Or real-time leaderboard. So essentially, whenever you used Memcached, Memcached is another storage for caching. Okay, so for caching, for leaderboards, for real-time stock prices, you generally prefer a in-memory database like Redis. Then comes a document-oriented database. Okay, then comes a document-oriented database such as MongoDB. Okay, so so let's say you are trying to store objects, big large objects into database. In those cases, you would like to go for MongoDB. Okay, and so if you are trying to do things at MySQL and you are trying to store large objects and the schema is holding you back, then you will go for MongoDB. There is no concept called foreign key in case of NoSQLs. I mean, in none of the NoSQL, it's not there. All right. So the so when you are trying to store, let's say let's have a look at this object I'm giving. So the first name, last name, age, then address is another object, phone numbers is another object, and okay. So in those cases, if you see, if we had to store the same data into a RDBMS, we would split it into three tables, correct? And once you have splitted this data into three tables, then we will prepare the foreign key and we'll try to ensure the referential integrity. Okay, but here we try to create a big object such that everything is in a single object and there is no joining required generally. Okay, so in lots of cases, such as say you have a big website and whenever users are requesting a page, you want to just give the page instead of joining multiple tables. In all of those circumstances, MongoDB will do a good job for you. Okay, so was I able to answer, Sandhya? So generally you in these cases what you do is instead of keeping your data into multiple table and then trying to put the referential integrities, you prepare a big object representing each of the record and then you store it as a document. All right. So I mean, although although uh, not being able to join two data sets, I mean here joining is possible, but it's not really efficient. Okay, unlike our databases. All right. So in those cases, MongoDB is good if you have to store big data objects. Yeah, basically denormalized form. That's correct, Vikas. So sometimes when you are building your systems, generally the strict column definitions and strict referential integrities, all of these things hold you back from incorporating new features and incorporating new changes to the schema. Okay, and that becomes a big bottleneck in a lot of scenarios, and that's where these MongoDB kind of databases come into play. The other benefit of MongoDB is MongoDB is also distributed. It also has a concept like Zookeeper there is a master and there are slaves, and you can and whenever user's request is coming for some document, it will go to all the machines having the document and will give the results. So MongoDB is also distributed like Redis and HBase. Okay, so that was a MongoDB. Cassandra is actually one of the best databases to use in case of big data. Okay, just that just that just that it has to be separately installed. If you already have HDFS cluster, it will be an overhead for you. Okay, because Cassandra's behavior is very similar to behavior of HBase. Cassandra provides you a SQL language, SQL like language called CQL, Cassandra Query Language, using which you can query the data. Also, Cassandra also has a RDBMS layer called Hector. We call it Object to Relational Mapping, ORM mapping, using a project called Hector, so that those guys who have been using Hibernate earlier, they can simply shift to Hector and start using in the same fashion. So out of so Dia's question is, what is the use of database in case of big data? We have HDFS. Why do you use a database? So okay, what is the use of database in the normal life when you already have your file system? So on your machine you already had C colon in which you could create folder, you could create a file, and whether file could be in Excel, could be CSV, and so on. Why did we require a database system like Oracle or MySQL earlier? Okay, the reason is, in case of a file, if you let's say there is a CSV file, you have to delete one of the lines. Okay, one of the lines you have to delete. So what exactly happens? The way it happens in reality is, the whole data of the file is rewritten into the disk, which is humongously inefficient. Okay, similar is the case with, in case you have a CSV file in HDFS and you want to just delete one line out of this file. So this whole file has to be rewritten into the disk, and that will be equal to creating a new file. Okay, so that is why most of the file systems are great at storing the full file, but not record wise manipulation, and that's why we require databases, and that's why we require things like MySQL and Oracle. Do I make sense, Dhia? Yeah. Okay, you are still confused? Not yet clear? Yeah, so Cassandra is a direct competitor to HBase. Okay, Cassandra is a direct competitor to HBase. People realized that they could do uh, I mean, parallel to HBase, somebody was trying to write Cassandra as well. And in Cassandra, Facebook stores lots of images and images metadata. Right. So Aruna's question is, in real work environment on big data, how do we decide on the best database or the approach? Since not, that's what we are discussing today. That's what we are discussing now. Okay. So unless and until you know which database is great at what and what technology landscape, to use when we are going for particular database. So so that's what we are discussing. So we discuss something called Redis, where there is in-memory manipulation required. You use Redis. If you are going for, if you have if you are using MySQL for your big website and all the time the schema is holding you back, you might go for MongoDB. And if your data is growing really bigger, then you might go for MongoDB. Okay. So I mean, my approach is that you first understand what all databases are there, and so that you can take a call on what to use when. Okay. Okay. So Cassandra is clear to all of you. So Cassandra and HBase are a close call. Thumb rule is, if you have already Hadoop in place, you go for HBase. If you don't have Hadoop already, then you go for Cassandra. Okay, that's a thumb rule. So whenever you are doing web analytics, when you have lot of data coming in and you want to do analytics, but you are not very interested in doing per second. Okay, if you were doing per millisecond kind of churning and you were writing a lot of data into while doing this analytics less than 1 second, then you might go for a different solution. Cassandra is not a great solution for that. No, there will be a role of DBA, of course, who would I mean who would handle and set up and do the loading etc, of course, in all of these databases. But these DBAs generally are mostly developers, okay, who do all of this, because DBAs traditionally are quite they are quite content with their usual MS SQL, Oracle, or any other RDBMS. Okay, but since DBAs are also changing and learning, they can be pretty helpful in setting up and optimizing it and doing all of this. Okay, all right. Now HBase is where you have billions of rows and millions of columns. Okay, so it's okay. So Hadoop is still probably the best way to do MapReduce on huge dataset. And if you already have Hadoop HDFS stack already, you go for HBase. Okay. Otherwise, if you don't have this whole Hadoop stack and you have no plans to go for Hadoop stack, then Cassandra will be a good example. Cassandra will be a good database for you. Yes. Okay. Now, uh, all right. Similar to HBase, you have Accumulo and Hypertable. But Accumulo and Hypertable, whatever they are providing, that can be done with HBase and Cassandra. So I don't think it's worth discussing all of this and all other database solution. And you can also have a look at this particular comparison. Okay, it's very well written, and you can go with this. All right. All right. Now, so that was a very quick overview. That was a very quick overview of our Hadoop of our NoSQL solutions. We had talked about HBase, we talked about Cassandra quickly, and MongoDB and NoSQL. Right? And we also compared Storm and Spark. So thumb rule in case of Storm and Spark was that if you are having a Hadoop stack and or you have plans to set up Hadoop stack, go for Spark Streaming. And if you have a requirement of, I mean, you are okay with the latency of 1 second, then Spark Streaming is good. Otherwise, go for Storm. Now, all right. Then Redis, when you have to handle, I mean, less than 1 milliseconds of writes, a lot of writes are happening. Though in those cases, go for Redis. And MongoDB is okay when you're trying to say store a large object and the schema is holding you all the time. In those cases, MongoDB is great. And Cassandra and HBase are head-on competitors. So basically, if you already have Hadoop stack, you go for HBase. Otherwise, you go for Cassandra. All right. Now coming back to what we had to discuss today, the project discussion. Now CouchDB and other databases are similar to MongoDB, okay, and all the features which are there in CouchDB is also there in MongoDB. Okay, so let me just go through your project. All right. So the project here is a little bit, you know, okay. So here what we are going to do in this project is going to do a sentiment analysis of a keyword called Iron Man. And the objective of this exercise is to do the sentiment analysis based on the tweets we receive from Twitter. Okay. The steps here outline the primitive strategy for sentiment analysis for the movie Iron Man using Hive. We are going to use Hive in this case. It is up to you whether you choose exactly same steps or you use a different strategy. Okay. It's up to you whether you use a different strategy or use the same steps. And there are various kinds of deviations possible to this project, such as you could choose a different statistics approach. Here, the way we are summing up values, you could choose some other approach. You could use Pig instead of Hive, or you could use some completely different algorithm to compute the sentiment analysis. Okay, for example, you can have a look at this document which outlines the modern approaches to the to the to the sentiment analysis. Okay, or here we have used a Flume to download the data from Twitter. You could download your data by yourself, or you could use our data, or in case this Flume you don't like, you can utilize your own way of downloading data and you can build that. Or so these are like 6 kinds of variations I have listed down. You could come up with a new kind of a new kind of a variation. Okay, in this exercise we are going to display the result in Excel sheet. We're going to display the results in Excel sheet. You could use Tableau or D3JS or maybe BERT to display the data. It is completely up to you. Alright, is the problem statement clear to all of you? So here is one natural NLP approach to sentiment analysis. You can have a look at that. Alright, so the problem statement is clear to you. We are basically going to use Hive on the data which is downloaded using Flume to generate the trends and then display those sentiment analysis trends in the Excel sheet. Okay, so here are the steps. First, you log in into our Hue, and then there you will see, okay, there you will see in this particular folder all the data available to you. Okay, so we can go directly into this URL. Yeah, so here this is the data which we have downloaded using Flume. And first is, this one is not Flume, this is a dictionary which we have made available from somewhere. So this dictionary tells us whether a word is negative, positive, or what is the polarity. Is it neutral or okay? So this dictionary gives us what kind of word it is. Is it a noun, adjective, or verb, or it's a weak subject or a strong subjective? Okay. Then we have in this data we have time zone map, which we'll be using to convert the time zone into the country. Okay, we'll be using time zone to convert, basically figure out what is the country of each tweet. Then we'll have raw tweets data, and raw tweets data, if we look at it, it's basically compressed data. And let's just format it JSON formatter. So this is how our tweets look like. Okay, here you can see. Okay, so you can see that here the text is, this is the tweet somebody has done. Okay, and it has got these various attributes. Okay, all right, so what are we going to do in this exercise in SQL? We are going to break each tweet. We are going to break this tweet into one word. Okay, and we are basically going to do this, and then join it with the dictionary and figure out whether each one is a negative or positive word, and then sum it up. Okay, so you can say, all right, let's say we are going to say 123 is our tweet ID. All right, no, it doesn't look good. So we can say new line 123 and then tab. Okay, so this is how we are going to convert it, and then join it with the dictionary on each word, and then figure out by summing all the positives together whether a tweet is positive or negative, and how does how does how does it reflect on the sentiment of the overall tweet. Okay, so for that, to understand exact algorithm, have a look at the SQL over here. So if you go into one level up, and under Hive there is this Hive DDL dot SQL. This is the only SQL we will keep ourselves content with. Here you can see that first we are creating an external table called tweets raw using a JSON Serde. Okay, using a JSON serializer deserializer, we are going to load the data from tweets raw folder into this table, and it's external table. If you create internal table and you deleted this, my actual data will get deleted. Next is we create external table called dictionary on top of our dictionary folder, and then time zone map again in the same manner. And after that we convert the timestamp of each tweet, and then we join tweets with the time zone to deduce the country of each tweet. And afterwards we explode the text into one word per line, and after exploding it we join this exploded one word per line into with the dictionary. And once we are done with the joining with the dictionary, now here we have not joined it, next here this is where we are joining it. Okay, so after joining it, what we are saying is, if the word is negative in the dictionary, then mark it as -1. If word is positive, mark it as 1. Okay, so in the dictionary, when it's if one particular word is marked as negative, then we'll give it -1, and so on. Now what we'll do is we will group all the words again based on the tweet ID and the polarity sum up the polarity. Okay, if summation is greater than 0, we mark it as positive. If summation is less than 0, we mark it as negative. Okay, so now after all of this analysis, we will have tweet ID and another column containing positive or negative as sentiment or neutral as sentiment. Okay, once that is done, we can again we can replace positive with 2 and neutral with 1 and negative with 0. Okay, ideally we could have done it here itself. Okay, and then we report it. This is our end result, and after this is done, you can present it howsoever you want it. Okay, here we are going to use Excel sheet. You can use BI or you can use any other tool. So once you have tweets BI table in the Hive, you can connect to Hive using Excel sheet, but for that you would require a Excel sheet driver, and the driver is available from Hortonworks. You can download this and install it on your Windows. Please please take care while installing, because first understand what is the architecture, whether your Microsoft Excel is 64-bit or 32-bit. If it is 32-bit, use the 32-bit driver. If your Microsoft Excel is 64-bit, use the 64-bit driver. Okay, once you are done with that, you connect to our server and provide the login password, whatever you know, student, and the password you know already. And once you have connected, then you can display it. You can test the connection and then display it in the Excel sheet. All right. So I don't think that their driver works with OpenOffice. Okay, I'm not sure if they have provided an OpenOffice. So you can search for Hive driver for OpenOffice. Okay, and then represent it. Alright, so go through this document again and understand the project. And once you are done with it, please send me the Excel sheet. Also tell me where you have stored your tweets BI table, and also write an email to me explaining the approach, whether you have made any changes to the approach or not. And so those are the things you need to do. Okay. Alright, coming back to the timelines. So the timelines are as follows. Okay, so lab access will remain till July 19, and certificate issue will happen on July 26, and last project submission is on July 19. Okay, yes, to download the data using Flume, here in case of Okay, here, not here. So inside here, you will, I'll show you. So his question is, uh, where is the, yeah, in this Flume folder, not this one, not this one, not this one. All right, I think it is. Oh, I need to SSH. So not now. We don't have to use Uzi. It is in the session number 12 itself. You can see project discussion. Sandhya, are you able to log in into No Big Data's this thing, LMS, and go to session number 12? Okay. So yes, I think. Yeah. So in the home folder, you will see sentiment files. Okay. Under that, you will see a folder called Flume. Okay. Here you can see the twitterconf.txt. Okay. And there you will see that here uh, there is a Twitter, this consumer key, consumer secret, and all of this. You will have to replace this with your secret keys. Okay. And then run it. Okay. Vikas, were you able to locate? So in this folder. All right. Okay. All right. So the conditions for the certificate is that you all have to submit the assignment. Even if your subjective is absolutely wrong, please submit it. It makes a lot of difference. Objectives are mandatory. Okay. Okay. Without objectives, we will not be releasing the certificate. So please finish the objective questions. And even if you are doing it multiple times, please go ahead. Okay. And subjectives are great. They add a lot of value, and they basically adds to your rating with us, so that tomorrow if somebody comes around and says that they are looking for somebody into Hadoop, then we generally refer only the candidates who have done great. Okay. So there are two things. First is certificate. For certificate, you need to finish all the objective assignment. And in case you want us to refer you, please attempt the subjective questions. Okay. Yes. So when I say objective, means quizzes. So the list is session wise, so you can go session wise here. And also if you go to your user account, then under your results it shows you the your attempts. For me, because I can see everyone's assignments, it shows me the details of all the candidates. Okay. Okay. No, right now it's showing only my candidates, my results. All right. So under my results, you will see all the things you have attempted in past. But for attempting, you have to go into your course and go session wise. All right. Any questions for me? All right. So that's pretty much. And stay connected. In today's world, goodbye doesn't make much of a sense. And stay connected on LinkedIn. And so since somebody else is managing my LinkedIn account, make sure to mention while you're sending a request, make sure to mention that you are from this particular batch. Okay. For Hive, I created one with my Gmail ID username. Is that the login? I did not get your point. So for Hive, you created a database, or you created you. Oh, okay. Okay, so we need to see that uh, which I think Aruna, you have only one account configured. So can you just drop me an email, Aruna, in which mentioning that this is what you're looking for? Okay, I'll just try to consolidate both the things if you have to. All right. Okay. So thank you, Amish. I'm happy that you like the sessions. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Aruna. Thank you, Vikas. Thank you, Kalyan. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dia. I'm happy. Thank you, Amish. Thank you, Ngoba. And yeah, yes. So Vikas, now you can confidently say that you are an expert. Probably you would be knowing by now. You would be knowing more than most of the other people. Trust me on this. And I'm happy that you are able to go through the whole thing. And yeah, thank you, Vikas. Thank you, Sandhya. Thank you, Basant. And stay connected. In today's time, it doesn't make much sense to say goodbye. It's a small world, and I mean, there would be we might bump into each other again, and maybe I'm planning to launch a specific course on machine learning dedicated to only the machine learning. So I've picked up few people, and then another course for only the managers for the analytics, big data analytics for managers. So we're planning for two more courses, and we'll be launching them soon. All right. And yeah, machine learning would be more like focused towards a data scientist perspective. Okay. All right. So, Ingoba, your question, I would like to answer it, but not here over the email. And all right, great, great. Feel free to write our review, and I mean your honest review, howsoever you feel. And sure, Ramesh, I'll keep you updated. It might take like 20 to 20 days, 25 days to start machine learning course, but we are planning to keep it one of the best in the industry. Okay, and yeah, all right, great. So see you around, and yeah, stay connected, all of you. All right, and yeah. So I mean, you will get a certificate link after 26th, and if you have any questions, still you can email us at Hadoop at No Big Data, and stay active on our forum. If you have any questions, drop it on the forum. That helps other people also having the same question. Uh, Otherwise, we'll have to copy paste everything again and again onto the forum. All right? Yes, yes. So yes. So for example, here in case of Spark, I have put in some interview questions. You can go through those as well as okay. So this one, all right. So similarly, we are putting those the real interview questions rather than saying what is Hadoop, what is this, what is that. We are writing, preparing real interview questions based on feedback from InMobi guys, Amazon guys, and other people, Yahoo guys. So based on that, we are preparing the interview questions. All right. So stay connected on the forum, and if you have any questions, just drop us an email. All right. Great. All right. Bye bye now. Yeah. So, yeah. So access will be up to 26th. 26th. You can see here. Okay. So those of you who want to extend the lab access, please let me know. Okay, upfront, so that I mean, for our student, it's not a problem that we can extend the access. The only thing is we have to take care the capacity into the consideration. Okay, so just drop us an email in case you want to extend the lab access. Till now it's up to 19th July. Okay, all right, great. Bye bye, have a great day. Yes, all the accounts in LMS, all these recordings will be active forever unless our company shuts down. Okay. In that case, we'll inform you that you can download all of this. And yeah, right, great. Bye bye. Have a